Okay, I'm making spice cookies today, and they have a secret ingredient. I have never made these before, so we will find out how they taste. They intrigued me. So we'll start. I've got a half cup of butter in my bowl with a half cup of oil. I use vegetable oil. You can use pretty much any kind of oil you want, except I would not use olive oil because it's too strong. And I've got 2 cups of white sugar in there. We're just going to blend them together. When you get them combined, we're going to add the secret ingredient, which is ketchup. And I forgot my spoon. So we're going to add 2/3 cup of ketchup, whatever your favorite brand is. I use Heinz. I need to make my own, but for the moment we'll use Heinz. And we're also going to add a half cup of molasses. And then we'll beat those together. Same measuring cup. No need to dirty multiples. And we'll beat that all together and get the sides scraped down. Then we're going to add 2 eggs. And we'll really let that beat good. Sides scraped and the bottom scraped.
Yep.
There's 1 egg. There's number 2 egg. We'll let that beat for a couple of minutes. So I beat that for a good couple of minutes, and it's looking a lot less curdled. It's more smooth, so just make sure we got everything off the bottom, and we'll start with the dry ingredients here. Gonna add our spices. We've got 4 teaspoons of baking soda we're going to add, 4 teaspoons of ginger, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, a teaspoon of allspice, and a teaspoon of salt, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. So we've got that all mixed in, and one thing I forgot to tell you about was I also added a teaspoon of baking powder. Now we're going to add 4 cups of flour. We'll add 1 cup at a time and let it mix in as we go here. We'll start and add 1 cup. And while we're doing this, we need to get our oven preheated to 350. That's 2. See what kind of a dough we got here. You can get anything. it's still, the dough is very wet. There's no way I would be able to roll that. I can't, I don't know how well you can see, but it's still pretty liquidy. So I'm going to start by adding another cup of flour, and then we'll go from there. See how much we need. Whenever you're baking, the flour is always a judgment call, depending on the weather. If it's extremely dry, you'll need less. If it's high humidity, you'll need more. This is cup number 6. We'll see what we get. Way too wet to be able to roll, so we're going to add another. I'll be sure if I make this recipe again, then I'll make a note on it that takes a lot. So, to get to this point, and you can grab a piece and roll it, I've added a total of 8.5 cups of flour. So, this recipe that was going to make 4 or 5 dozen is going to make a lot more than that. But that's alright. We'll give them away, and we'll freeze them. We can always find somebody that wants cookies.
Guys at work love them.
Yeah, take them to work. I know. Can you see down in there what this looks like? So you have kind of a orangish dough. Kind of looks like it's had pumpkin in it, but it doesn't. Although pumpkin cookies do sound kind of good. It's about a tablespoon size. And you can make them any size you want.
Shit.
And we're going to roll them in cinnamon sugar. And then we're going to bake them at 350. Let's see. 10 to 12 minutes it says. So we'll see. Okay, so we're going to, I've got a tablespoon size scoop. You can use a tablespoon. You can use your hands. Just roll it into a bowl. And in the bowl here I've got some cinnamon sugar. You can make it any strength you like. We like cinnamon, so my cinnamon sugar tends to be a little stronger. And then we're just going to place them on the sheet. You can actually make these any size you want. If you want them bigger, they'll take a little bit longer to cook. Smaller, they'll take a little less time. These scoops come. So they're ready to go in the oven. Try to keep your balls as much the same size as you can, because then they'll bake evenly, which is why I like the scoop. They may be slightly bigger, but not significantly. So they're going to bake at 350 for 10 to 12 minutes. We'll check them at 10 and see where they are. They are. No, I would say another minute. Because they're so round. So the batch I have in the oven did not flatten out at all, probably because I added so much more flour. So what I did is I just took my fingers and I flattened these slightly. If you don't mind the round balls, it's fine. The other ones weren't done at 10. I'm going on minute number 2 to make it 12 minutes because they're so round. We'll try again at 10 because I flattened these. So as you see, this batch did not flatten. They cracked nicely, which a spice cookie is good when it does, but they took 12 minutes. I'm thinking the next batch isn't going to take as long. We'll try them. So this is the batch that I flattened quite a bit. It's taken 12 minutes, and I think as they set and cool, they're already starting to crack a little more. we tasted the first batch. They taste pretty good, but because I had to add so much flour, the spice is not as strong as I would like. So I think when I make them again, that I would increase the spice mixtures, probably even double it, because it's a very faint. So we'll let these sit on the tray for about 2 minutes, and then we'll put them to the cooling rack. I made a double batch. I probably didn't need to make a double batch because I had to add so much flour to it, but I'm going to get a lot of cookies out of this. But you don't taste the ketchup. They taste like a spice cookie. Just not as spicy as I was hoping for. But we'll fix that in the future.